Coming to you live from Ever Media Studios in Los Angeles, this is EverTalk Live.
Happy Thursday, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Moyer. This is EverTalk Live coming to you from the Ever Media Studios here in West Hollywood. We are live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for a little Hollywood and happiness, positivity, and pop culture. Happy Thursday, y'all.
Happy Thursday, Jez. How you doing?
It feels good. Yesterday was serving these fall vibes, and LA is like really giving it to us today.
Oh my goodness, you have
Super
to
foggy.
bring that summer from the inside out because it is not summer anymore.
I thought about even spiking my coffee today. Just amp it up a little bit.
So you were a model, right, for 10 years. How long?
Oh yeah, still a model.
Still
Once a model, always
exactly,
a model,
exactly.
Rob.
So I was too, and I remember being so nervous at the auditions and castings. I always just wanted to do shots of alcohol, right? Like anything to loosen you up.
So
of
we
course, that didn't work.
did.
Yeah.
Only on occasion.
Yeah, on occasion, right? But it's so interesting because I guess over time it just wears off, right?
Over
less nervous
time,
over time, right?
It does. But there's always kind of this joke my friends have. They'll come up and they'll say, "Oh, hi, it's so good to see you. Is this one drink Jeslyn?"
One drink
One
Jeslyn.
drink Jeslyn.
So what's
yes.
one drink Jeslyn like? What's the difference?
She lets her hair down a little bit.
Yeah.
She tells she tells it like it is. Turns it on a little bit, but it's funny because I always say my mom is my 3-drink self. So
that's
so,
interesting.
Right?
Yes. So she's a little less inhibited.
Wild.
All right. Go mom. Love that.
Well, we had an awesome show yesterday.
Sure
Talk
did.
about Wealth Wednesday in the community. Did you have any dreams last night?
Oh man, it's so funny you say that. So we had a guest on the show who's like a dream expert, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the point and purpose of sort of the interview is that she's had dreams that have actually come true, but it was a cancer diagnosis, right?
Right.
So I didn't want to dream last night. I was like, I don't want to, but so did I dream? Yes, I did dream, but I only dreamt of my mom cleaning the kitchen like over and over again. I don't know what that means. There's gotta be
What
some
does
symbolism
that
there.
mean?
I don't know. My mom cleans a lot. She probably just needs a break.
Well, we're going to have to defer to the dream expert. Let's take a look at yesterday's rewind.
Coming to you live from Ever Media Studios in Los Angeles, this is EverTalk Live.
My Explore page is all engagement rings, wedding
that's good,
photos,
though.
and babies. I am not married. I am not engaged.
But you want to be, right? You'd like to be one day.
Yes, I would like to be one
So
day.
it's aspirational.
He does these really great Insta stories that are very positive from the seat of his eternal Maserati.
That guy's very cool. You gotta check that out.
He's
Super dope.
very cool.
What were the sharks like?
They were nice. They were not.
Were they nice?
They were actually nice. I know that there's a lot of drama there, but they were actually really nice. Yeah.
So,
if somebody offers you a grand amount of money for something that you've created, know that it's worth hundreds of times more.
Live from Los Angeles. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. I'm so excited to welcome our next guest. She's a dream expert and an author, Kat Cannabis. Welcome to the show.
In this book, we have 30 authors who had, and some of them are doctors, but they asked us to use a different name. Their dreams were validated by pathology reports, which is part of the Asclepian dream temples.
So fascinating, Jess. So did you dream last night?
I went to bed asking the universe for a really good dream that I could share on the show. I don't remember any of it.
That's the nature of things.
I think I was so tired, I really needed to crash.
I feel like some things only work by like the law of reverse effect. It's like sleep and dreaming. When you try, it doesn't work. When you don't try, then you have a ton of them. Yeah.
What's a girl to do? I really want that fried chicken though. Every time I see that interview with Deborah Torres and the Shark Tank thing, man, I am so proud of her and her family as entrepreneurs. Isn't that incredible?
It is.
Mark Cuban offered her $1 million for her business and she said, no, I'm worth more than
That's
that.
incredible.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It's a pretty big deal. I also love that she said that the sharks were friendly. I didn't know if they would be, but Love to hear that. Love to hear when people are friendly. Yesterday was International Kindness Day, by the way.
Was
Did you know that? Yeah. I totally missed that, by the way.
How did you miss that? You are the happiness expert,
I know.
Rob.
It's so weird, but I'm not on Instagram nearly as much, I guess, as I should be or something.
Well, we talked about the Instagram thing yesterday a little bit. I keep waking up thinking I'm going to have that notice. Your likes have been hidden. You are one of the select few. I haven't got the notice yet.
It's coming.
I
it's
want
coming.
it. Give
I
it
know.
to me.
So what are people going to do? Like screenshot how many likes they got and send it to a friend? Like, how does this work now? I'm interested.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's so funny. You know, we were talking a little bit before the show about personal branding. I said, Rob, you're so on brand with all these books in front of you.
Oh, man, I am a book addict. Like, if you can see here, I mean, these are just a couple of the books. But I was obsessed with reading books, mostly because I was so aware of what I didn't know. And I was so unhappy. I wanted to learn how to be happy. So I knew there were people out there that were happiness experts, whether they're philosophers or poets or psychologists or ministers or monks. But yeah, it's a little sampling of the books that I love. So I'm a big fan of Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Buddhist monk, and he actually worked with Martin Luther King Jr. for a while, and so we'll talk about that a little bit.
Rob,
later,
you're going to have to pass that one over, How to Relax, because I'm stressed out. I got spotted in Beverly Hills, got this ticket. It's never happened to me before.
Oh, man. Well, that's surprising, by the way, because you've been in LA for how long?
Oh, long enough. I can't even say. They have my picture on it and everything.
Oh, my gosh. And you're smiling, probably.
I was smiling. I am guilty as charged right there at Sunset Boulevard. It was a yellow light, I swear. My Fiat cannot go fast enough to get through the red. But it's so crazy. They send you your picture and everything.
I know. It's kind of mind-blowing. You can't really argue your way out of it at that point,
How
right?
to relax.
Yeah, going to need that one. It's funny because we had Ellen Rakuten on the show, and I worked with her and for her for a while. And what's so interesting is that, sometimes she would say, hey, Rob, just take my car and, if you wouldn't mind, take my son here or there. And I got and set a couple of those in her car. I was like speeding through the interstate. I didn't realize it, and then your picture's there, and it's pretty embarrassing.
Oh,
yeah.
Spotted. What can we do? Well, we're so excited to welcome our very special guests to the show today. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm still waking up back there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're so excited to have you now and forever, Natalia. Thank you so much for being with us. So tell us, how does an artist like you start your day? How do you wake up and stay woke?
That's a good question. Well, I wake up slowly if it's super early, like today. But I always start it with a strong cup of coffee. Then I love to take the dog for a run, or maybe a quick yoga class. And then I really just warm up by rocking out. So brush my teeth and get my face ready and my mind ready by, listening to whatever is my latest musical obsession usually. And lately, I will have to say, we have a new release that's a compilation of our original song and a bunch of remixes. It's called Frederick the Remixes. So I rock out to that.
Oh, super cool. You're also rocking some really cool jeans right there. We love those jeans.
Thank you so much for noticing.
Wow, love that.
Yeah, really
well,
nice.
Thank you for being with us. We have got the host of the Growth Now podcast with us. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So tell us, how do you wake up and stay woke?
Yeah, I love that question because at first I became obsessed with morning routines because everybody says you need to have these routines to set your day up and do all this crazy stuff, the miracle morning, the 5 a.m. club, the ice baths, all those things. And I became so consumed with the things I had to do that the rest of my day fell apart. And so for me, really the only thing that's a guarantee in my morning is a 10-minute visualization. And it's a deep visualization of how my day is going to go and then the big dream or the big goal that I currently have in my life. And I make sure that I feel it, smell it. I really kind of walk myself through the day, and it really kind of makes sure I set myself up for success.
I can appreciate that. It's interesting. I ran cross country in high school, and there was a kid on the team, and I'll never forget. I'm not going to call him out. He might be watching. But he was fantastic because what he would do is the first mile in, he'd be the fastest runner. He'd be at the head of the entire pack. And then, of course, the last 2.5 miles, totally peter out and be done. And so it's a good point. You got to be careful because if you put too much energy and time into the morning routine, you wear yourself out.
Exactly.
It's a lot.
Yeah, full-time job. I like that you feel it and smell it. You are the first one to ever say that you smell it. I don't know. What does your vision smell like? I've got to know.
Well, I think it's just really about putting yourself in that scenario Literally, like, what's that room going to smell like? If you're setting up a room for something, is it a scent that you're putting in the room? Is it food you're cooking? Is it your loved one's perfume? Whatever it may be, to truly sensationalize the whole entire thing, you know, as far as if you reach that pinnacle of what you're visualizing, what are your loved ones saying to you? What's that going to feel like when they embrace you? And when you can truly visualize it, your actions then take those next steps for you.
But I still don't know what it smells like for you. See, me,
Yeah.
it'd be Parisian peonies or the scent of Santorini, if you will.
There you go. I mean,
Anything
it smells
French.
wonderful in here, so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's very Neville Goddard of you, by the way. Are you a Neville Goddard fan? Did you read?
No, I have no idea who that is.
Oh, yeah. He was like the OG, dude. He was the OG of the visualization. He was all about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Nice.
And so, yeah, you sort of got that down pat.
You know who was also assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled this
Who's that?
morning?
Uh-oh.
Oscar qualifying filmmaker Declan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations, you have been on such an incredible festival run. Tell us though, how does a filmmaker like you start your day? How do you wake up and stay woke?
So actually in the last 3 years I've been traveling and making these different films that I make in different countries. So I have Ashmina is the film that is running to the Oscar right now, but actually tomorrow there's a screening of the film that I made after Ashmina, which is called Anna, and it's screening in the AFI Film Festival. And I'm going to shoot another film next week in Mammoth, California. I just drove there from there yesterday. So I've been shooting films in different countries, and I wish I had a morning routine like you people, but I just, my morning routine is usually to check out from whatever hotel I'm sleeping at the day. So yeah, it's just very hectic and all over the place.
Well, as long as it works for you, that's all that matters. You're clearly killing it, so we love that. Absolutely.
You know who started killing it from a very young age?
Uh-oh, who?
Emily Bear,
Emily.
child piano prodigy, releasing her new incredible single Emotions. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
I am so excited to know, how do you wake up and stay woke?
I'm sort of with him on my schedule changes so much that I don't really have a morning routine, especially when you are a musician and you're writing music for TV and film, and the deadlines are so crazy and the hours you have to work just don't stop. So I'm up till like 4 o'clock in the morning a lot. But when I wake up at a reasonable hour, I love going boxing to get all my frustration out before I start my day.
Did you say boxing?
What?
What did you say? Boxing?
Boxing,
Oh, all
yeah.
right. Love that. All right. Cool.
Like fighter. Well, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation with each of you later in the
A
show.
little boxing. Do you ever do boxing, Jess?
No.
No? I know. Yeah. It's a big thing, right? Though,
Do
in
I
LA?
ever do
Everywhere.
boxing? Everybody boxes.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a great place if you want to pick up a guy, because there are some hot guys
That's great.
boxing. Yeah.
It's true.
No,
Yeah.
really.
I can see that. My brother, he's a hot guy, and he boxes. He does the boxing thing. He's like really into boxing, and he loves watching boxing. He does the boxing workouts. They're great workouts. Shamar Moore, he's a big boxing fan. So.
Oh yeah. All the hot
Look,
guys
guys.
I've dated in
Yeah.
LA, they all go to boxing.
Ah.
I'll go to the juice bar across the street from the boxing and just watch it all happen.
Sprint yourself down.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
not very athletic. The only time I ever got really in a fight was my dad put me in karate class when I was like 14 years old. He said, "You got to learn self-defense." Well, I learned it so well, I took the guy out. He told
Shut
me I
up.
fought like a girl, and I did.
No
and you
way.
better believe
Oh,
I
I
knocked
love that.
him
You're
out.
kidding me, Jez.
I did. And my dad said, "Well, that wasn't very ladylike," and I did go back to the class.
Wow. What was it? A hook? It was a jab?
Uppercut.
Uppercut.
He didn't
What?
see it coming.
That's dope, Jess. Oh man, you must have really got under your skin, because you're really great about like managing difficult situations. That's one of your, I think, geniuses.
Thank
is just
you.
managing difficult situations. So if they pushed you to the point where you felt like you had to knock them out, it must have been a pretty big deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know who knocked it out of the park?
Who?
Some of the artists at Tropicalia this
Oh,
weekend.
I've heard.
As promised, I wanted to share with you some of the awesome photos captured by @Miramonte. We were at this 2-day festival in Pomona. It was insane. That's Phobia.
Wow.
Interwave from right here in Los Angeles, some of the hottest bands. The Wallows were there. Of course, you might know their lead singer from 13 Reasons Why. The crowd was going insane. It was so
Crowd
much
surfing?
fun. Crowd surfing. It was produced by Golden Voice, who are the same geniuses that put on festivals like Stagecoach, Coachella, and these were all the bands that are really, truly on the rise and making massive differences in the Latinx community. So this generation was on fire.
Amazing.
Yeah, one of my favorites was Natalia Lafourcade. She is the #1 artist in Mexico right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sick.
Man, how do you get all these invites, Jess? I need to get more invites.
Because Rob, I say yes to everything. You're always
It's
welcome
true.
to be
It's
my
true.
+1. But this guy's so
Appreciate that.
responsible.
Oh, I appreciate that, Jess. It's interesting, and it's one of the things I appreciate about you, about how you're like able to burn the candle at both ends, because you do the night thing really well, and you network and you do it responsibly, and then you wake up the next day bright and early. You're the first one here, along with Andy Waldman, the executive producer.
Well, you know what the secret is?
Yeah.
I drink my rosé.
That
I'm going
helps.
to do a shameless self-plug
That
right now
helps.
because I am in the throes of launching my own rosé, and I am so excited about it, but I've been taking it all over town, and
Love
I'm
this.
having such a good time. When you love what you do, you can burn the candle at both ends.
This is so true, and congratulations on that, Jess. So tell me, where can we find Moyer?
Well, TBD. I'll be announcing some really fun places that will be pouring it here in West Hollywood, possibly New York, and of course it'll be available online very, very soon. But thank you for following my journey and being so supportive.
How cool is that? Who has their own wine?
I
It's
do.
like you.
Moyer Rosé.
Or, you know, it's like George Clooney's got his tequila.
Exactly. I took
Puff Daddy.
note. I took note, George. Thanks
Yeah.
for
Whew.
leading the
I
way.
love that, Jess. Fantastic. Boy, so today I know we're talking a little bit about peace, because I think peace for me is, of course, priceless. There's nothing more important, I think, in life than peace. And you can have all the money or all the success in the world, but if you don't have peace, it's all worthless, really, right? I mean, even if you have health and you don't have peace, it's a problem. So these, of course, are some of the books that I've used to find peace. You know, I think my favorite sort of philosophers are always the Stoics. So Epictetus, and I wouldn't call Marcus Aurelius a Stoic philosopher, but he was one of the great philosopher kings, which essentially meant that he was not only powerful in a worldly way, but he was also incredibly wise, right? So also, A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. She is just fantastic. She's always in here in LA giving talks.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? Oh, here's an unknown one, Ashes of Love. So Ashes of Love is written by a guy named Rupert Spira, and he's sort of like from the non-dual tradition, but the guy is fantastic. Another great
You know what's
author.
fantastic?
Yeah.
Rob highlights perfectly in his books,
Oh,
and
yeah, I
he,
kinda
and
got
he
an
makes
obsession.
notes. I love that.
I got an obsession, because the first time through, you know, you got to highlight. The second time through,
The second time
yeah, oh
through.
yeah, because these books I've read dozens of times, you know, because I'm kind of
Really?
OCD. Yeah.
I will say I've read one book twice,
What book was that?
The Power of Now.
Okay.
In your
Boom,
stack.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
because it's so heavy.
It's
Honestly,
very dense.
It took me almost a year to get through that.
Yeah.
That wasn't the only book I was reading, to clarify, but it would just, I would read just a few pages and I'd have to literally meditate and digest on that for days, if not weeks, before I finally felt like, okay, I've processed this information. I've made these adjustments in my life. What's next? 2 pages later. What's next? By the end of the year, I thought, okay, now I can read it again. It didn't take me a whole year the second time, but that is the only book I've ever read twice.
So you may be one of the few that actually followed his instructions at the very beginning, because he says that in the introduction, that you should like read a passage and then pause and like meditate and reflect and then return to it. It's not meant to be read straight through.
See, Rob, I'm a really good reader.
You are. You're a good rule follower too. That's awesome.
Not at all.
And then of course, I mean, this guy here, I just gotta love that guy.
Oh, yes.
But yeah.
Happiness from the Inside Out. Please be sure, if you haven't read this
You're
book,
so sweet.
you've got to. Or follow him on Instagram at RobMacOfficial, because you're always dropping some incredible wisdom.
Oh, you're so sweet, Jess. Well,
You really
just
are.
take notes from the people that are smart like you.
Well, we're so excited. Emily Barrett is going to be our very first guest. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on EverTalk Live. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
I can say to you guys is, remember you are not alone. It's that simple. Just keep remembering you are not alone.
We look good. No, you look good. All of us. We are so hot and humble.
You know me, I gotta follow the light.
Yeah, girl.
It's all about that light. I saw that light over there. I said, this must be my light. What are we doing? You laugh, you story.
Our producer's messing up the set. Security.
Thank you. That was awesome. I was like, are we going into infomercial already? Where's the 1-800 number? I don't know how you. We need to have these bloopers. Well, there you have it.
Yes.
You guys can binge watch all of our episodes on upgradeyourlifetv.com and on the EverTalk app. Bye, guys.
Bye.
EverTalk is hashtag community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. I am so excited to be here with Emily Barrett. She is a globally recognized artist, singer, songwriter, composer. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, it's so incredible to witness your journey from such a young age. I mean, 5 years old, being on Ellen. Tell us a little bit about that and where you are now.
Yeah, so I was on the show 6 times when I was younger.
6 times.
Yeah.
And
You're basically her friend.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just was on it again in June, so 7th time. And that just started catapulting into the rest of everything. I met Quincy when I was like around 8.
As in Quincy Jones.
Yeah. And he's been a huge mentor and influence in my life since then. And I toured around the world with him, with my jazz trio, released an album with him, and...
Tough life, girl.
I mean, I'm really bad at like my elevator pitch because there's been a lot and I've done a lot of different things, so it's hard to cover.
Age. I mean, how old were you right there?
I think 5.
Wow.
5 years old. At what point did you or your family recognize that you were a prodigy?
It actually wasn't my parents. It was my grandma. She was watching me and my siblings when my parents were away out of town. And my brother played piano. He's 4 years older than me, and I would used to just go up and start messing around with the piano as like a baby, apparently. And my grandma freaked out and started calling like music schools and is like, "What's wrong with this child?"
How can she play by ear?
Yeah, she was born this way.
Yeah,
seriously.
That's incredible.
Wow.
So what was that like growing up, sort of dedicating all your time and energy to learning and developing this skill of piano playing?
I mean, my parents have always been really good at like keeping a nice balance between, you know, Emily as a kid and Emily as a music career.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you dedicate something, you dedicate your life to something like this, that there's always going to be sacrifices. Like, there's a lot of things that I couldn't do because I was busy I cannot speak, it's too early. Preparing for something. Can go to a football game or whatever, but I mean, it's all worth it for me. Like, I'm not doing anything that I don't want to do. Like, music is a huge part of my life.
Where you're at now and looking back on those sacrifices maybe you made as a child, is there anything that you've done to make up for it?
Oh yeah, I mean, all of these incredible opportunities and experiences that I've been a part of over the past 10 plus years, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Football game, Quincy Jones.
Yes.
I would choose Quincy any day.
Yeah, but no, I always had a really nice balance of like career and friends. I went to summer camp every year. I went to like a regular high school, and so I had like the football games and homecoming and that whole thing, and just, I don't know, it was good.
What's been the hardest part of your journey? Has there been anything that's been sort of like just overwhelming? Is it the anxiety? Is it the expectations to perform? And I mean, what would you say is the hardest part of what you
I mean, I think it changes year to year. Yeah. Like this year, the things that I am struggling with are completely different than the things that I was struggling with like 3 years ago. So it can be anything from having a really hard show to prepare for, or just, you know, stress of deadlines and not being sure if I can make it done in time, but, you know, part of the job. I always, like, when I get super stressed about music, I think to myself, I was like, yeah, this kind of sucks, but in any field that I want to be successful in, there's going to be those sleepless nights, there's going to be those tears, like, it's going to be hard. And I'd rather have those hardships doing something that I really love doing.
When you're in that hard place, what do you do to kind of get back into your creative flow?
Honestly, a lot of times when I'm writing now, it's to film and to pitch, and it doesn't usually stem from like my creative stories. And so if I get like a writer's block or anything, then I just kind of just go back to ground zero and just start playing.
So was that kind of your process when you were working on Nancy Drew? I mean, you scored an incredibly fun film.
Yeah, I mean, that actually, both of those songs kind of just came out pretty easily. It's different for everything. Like there was this other thing that I was writing for Disney, and for some reason I just couldn't get it right. Yeah. And I tried it like 4 times, and it was like this big orchestral thing, and it was just killing me. But then I think you just have to trust the process, and you'll get there.
So it's trust, that's what helps you sort of dial into the zone where you're most creative?
Yeah.
Anything else that's been helpful? Is it people, or do you find certain spaces or places, or?
I mean, I have a really great team around me. So my film scoring agent, Richard Kraft, and his team have been amazing at guiding me, because I'm being put into so many situations for the first time this year with different studios and different people. So I think just having that great support network has been amazing.
Anybody you haven't met that maybe you want to work with?
Oh my God, the list is too long.
Really?
The list is too long.
Yeah.
Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
I love Anderson .Paak. I would love to write with him. This guy, Tom Misch, who's incredible. Any film score that I love. Alexander Desplat, John Barry. Like, I mean, just, dude, the list is so long and like spans many different genres.
So let's talk about the single Emotions. What inspired it? What do you love most about it?
So I started singing a couple years ago, kind of by accident. I started songwriting, and they had me demo the song. So when I played it for people, they were like, "Oh, who's singing?" And I'm like, "It's me." And then when I started writing more, I started singing more, and I started liking singing a lot more. And now I can't really imagine like without it. And so Emotions was one of the first songs that I wrote that sort of, I feel like, perfectly combined like my jazz background and like the pop stuff. Like it has a bossa nova beat, like it's a song, like I don't know, it really uses that piano and the jazz piano for my background. But when it like goes to the pop drop, it's like, whoa, this is different.
It's a serious vibe. I love that.
It reminds me of summer. I don't know why.
Yes.
What really inspired that though for you?
A boy, you know.
Oh, it's
like,
a boy.
Like all great songs. Yeah, there was this guy who like I had the biggest crush on, but he knew exactly how he made me feel, and like he knew exactly how he was playing it, and it drove me crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it became a hot song.
Thanks.
I happen to know like a low-key relationship expert right over here, Rob Mack. So if you ever need to like,
really,
yes, absolutely.
Interesting. I might take you up on that.
I'm concerned. I kind of like the idea that, you know, you experience a little bit of the drama, but then you create these great songs. So I wouldn't want to compromise that ability.
Well, once it's a hit, then she can hit you up.
There you go.
And
You can
heal your
resolve
heart.
it. There you go.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So what's next for you?
I want to start working on my next project, because this EP is out, and I'm already like ready to start working on something else. But I'm also writing a lot for TV and film, so that takes up a big chunk of my time.
Is it true for you? Because a lot of artists say, my favorite project is always the next one. Is that been your experience?
It's usually the most recent one. For some reason, I think it's an artist thing, I really don't like listening to my own music, because I just hear everything that I need to fix, and like all the little things that bother me that no one else can hear, but it's just like in my head. But right after I write something, I listen to it like 40 times. And like, I love it, and then I get sick of it.
Yeah, of course. You just make sure it's perfect as far as you're concerned, and then release it, and then forget about it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, well, please tell everyone where they can find and follow your personal journey and get more of your music.
Yeah, you can follow me at MLE Bear, like MLE. Get it, Emily?
I see.
I like
She's clever too.
Oh God, like, why is your name La Bear on Instagram? And I'm like, not quite what I was going for, but it works. Yeah, MLE.
Super clever.
Across all platforms.
Well, thank you so much and congratulations, Emily.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned back for more on EverTalk Live. You watch the stories of people changing the world. EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
All I can say to you guys is remember you are not alone. It's that simple. Just keep remembering you are not alone.
EverTalk is hashtag community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We are here with the incredibly gorgeous Natalia Safran. Thanks for being with us today.
So much.
You know, you are one of the busiest women in Hollywood. If you're not starring in a film, you're dancing in the streets of Venice for your latest music video.
You saw that. Thank you so
I
much.
did see that. We are the
We see it all.
Forevers. Yeah, we see it all, and you make it look so good. What's your journey been like to Hollywood? I mean, she's so busy, her phone is literally ringing.
I'm
Right?
so sorry. I
Oh, that's
thought
great.
I turned off the signal,
Good
but
to be
I
in
clearly
demand.
did not.
Good to be in
I
demand.
apologize for that. Like we're all vibrating on the couch
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
The journey was kind of long because I was born and raised in Poland, and from the earliest age, I grew up on classic Hollywood movies. And rock and roll music, and it was mostly Bruce Springsteen, and it was the 90s, and it was Soundgarden, and I think that just kind of fueled me to think of things far away that would make up home, and it was really what I responded to. So it kind of pushed me across the ocean. My journey went from Poznan, my hometown, through Paris and all the European countries where I modeled, and then on to New York, and finally on to LA. And I was right, LA is home. It feels just right. You can be anything and do anything here.
So that's interesting. So did you have any fear when you made that leap across the pond? Yeah.
So much fear goes into that. Like when I listen to myself tell this story, it's a quick jump. It's like, okay, then I was here and everything was home.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to move, and I transplanted myself a bunch of times. I realized that, the stops I was making were great, and they helped me build toward the future I envisioned for myself. But not one of them, before really getting here and kind of settled, was home. So then you have to uproot yourself and find yourself somewhere else. So yes, there's in the process you experience loneliness and self-doubt, and you leave people behind that you love, and family that is not always nearby. So yeah, it's a lot of heartbreak and effort in it, but it is all worth it. I mean, I think change is good, and you have to move forward if you want to get somewhere. Then you can always go back and get it all integrated. But to get yourself settled, into the life you want, it takes some doing sometimes.
I mean, that's such an interesting message, though, too, because so many people think once I get there, then my whole life will be changed. I mean, you got there. You started in Annabelle, played roles in Aquaman. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you made it, right?
Yes.
You never think you made it. You're always like working on something new,
I mean,
right?
in that music video, it sure looks like you are living that life.
You know what? I mean, people living here in LA, we've kind of got it made. Between the beautiful sunshine and all that variety that the city provides, you do feel like you're really living your life out loud.
But I mean, how do you really stay balanced with all of this, though? As an actor, as an artist?
Yeah, well, I don't stay balanced very well, so let's just
no.
dispel that myth
I love that.
altogether.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like a super Zen person. I try not to stress about the little things. So I like to think I'm pretty good at that. I prioritize as in, unless it's a life and death situation, it's not worth stressing over. And if something doesn't work out, you stop looking here, you just pivot to the other side and come out with something else out of a situation. But I work for myself. I'm a singer-songwriter. We have a band with my brother Mick called The Forevers. And I dabble in acting and I dabble in film production. So I'm working for myself, basically. And so I just work all the time. And with Mick, we make music at all hours of the day and night, usually night. So, yeah.
Did you have a vision from the very beginning of like what you wanted to be and do with your life? Or was it something that just like evolved over time?
I think it was the movies of Rita Hayworth and Gary Cooper that got me like, I need to be creative. I have stories to tell. I want to make movies and I want to make music. And it was Bruce Springsteen that I fell in love with at like the age of 12, I think, when I saw him doing his, Born to Run.
Yeah.
And I thought, this looks amazing. It looks like it would provide such intensity to a life you could lead that it really egged me on to pursue what I felt inside. And that's always been, music and creative arts.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What are you working on now?
We have a release out now with my band The Forevers called Frederic the Remixes. So it's our original track, Frederic, that you mentioned the video for, that we filmed on Venice Beach. And then we had an eclectic mix of fantastic international DJs, including iconic DJ Sandy Rivera and a whole bunch of really great people from all over the world remix the song in different ways.
Wow.
So, it's on all the music platforms and such. So we've been kind of supporting that and getting the word out. And I'm working on a couple of film projects, but because they're super new, I kind of can't really give out too much detail. I mean, one of them is a super personal project for me because it is a movie about an American blues legend. This fantastic woman whose story is not super well known, but she's revered by everybody I love in the music business. So, that's that. And we just kind of wrapped that whole whirlwind tour of Annabelle. I mean, Halloween is just behind us, so that was kind of crazy and a huge gift. It was an amazing movie to participate in and a great character to portray.
I'm so happy for you, and I'm so excited to continue to watch and follow your journey. Please tell everyone where they can find you.
It's Natalia Safran on all the platforms, and it's We Are the Forevers on Facebook and Instagram for the band.
Fantastic. What a great last name, Safran.
Oof,
right?
Yeah. And be sure to watch Annabelle as well.
Oh, maybe not. If you're faint of heart, maybe watch Aquaman, because that is like good for the whole family. That's more of a well-rounded recommendation. Yeah. We don't want the audience to come back and go this way.
Thank you. Stay tuned. We're right back with more on EverTalk Live. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. EverTalk is hashtag community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We're all about scaling, and this guy is the host of the Growth Now movement. Justin Shank is in the house. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me. This is amazing.
Okay, so what is Growth Now, and how do we really capitalize on this?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, it's really kind of been a journey, and I think when you look at my life and you go back to high school, right, I think that if there's a senior superlative for least likely to succeed, it would have been me. At a 1.7 GPA, my dad was in jail, and my mom was in the middle of a 20-year opioid addiction. And all signs pointed to no hope. Yeah. And when I really kind of latched onto this idea of growth and incremental growth and 1% every single day, I slowly kind of started to build the life that I truly wanted. And I realized that it doesn't matter where you come from. What matters are the choices that you're making today to create a better tomorrow.
What was that first choice you made, though, to witness those kind of results?
I think it started with not necessarily knowing at that age what I wanted, but just knowing what I didn't want. And so I latched onto people that had the life or were in the trajectory of success, or however you want to define that, right? And I said, hey, can I kind of ride your coattails? Can I learn from you? And so I started to make decisions from there, and I got mentors and started to learn from some incredible people.
So the best choice was a mentor, the first choice.
Yeah.
What was the worst choice you've ever made?
Oh, gosh. Still making them every day.
You praise, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I think the worst choice. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate with my choices overall, but there's definitely some ups and downs in life, right? Actually, today is the 4-year anniversary of my mom's death. So she lost the battle to opioids 4 years ago today, which is kind of crazy that I'm here.
So sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's one of those things. I think there were a number of months after that I found the drink to help a little bit, and that's probably the worst choice I ever made. There was a 3 to 4 month bender where I was like, let me just numb the pain. But that also taught me a lot of lessons too. So I think even if we're making bad choices, we can learn from the lessons and grow from there.
In honor and respect of your mother today, what was one of the best lessons you did learn from her?
Yeah, for me, I had tried multiple businesses before the one I have now that's successful, and they all failed. And I remember the first one that failed, and I called her. And the one thing I say about my mom, even though she had her own personal vices, she was my rock. She was my support system. And I called her and I said, we're shutting the doors of this business because it failed. And she goes, Justin, you're headed in the right direction, so keep your head up and keep moving forward. And I realized that even in failure, as long as you're pointed in the right direction, you're fine, as long as you're moving forward.
Just fantastic.
Yeah.
So from there, what led to successful businesses? Because I know that's always the question that people have. Is like, well, yeah, I've had a lot of failures too. What turned it around for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think aligning my purpose and my passion with what I'm doing. So if you look at the podcast, and then I own a podcast production and coaching company, and I do a live event, and I do all these other things. But I think it started with aligning that purpose and passion. And it was actually that rock bottom moment of my mom passing away that gave me that direction. I thought I had to learn how to grow a business from entrepreneurs. I had to learn the X's and O's, but it was really about finding peace in the idea of who I am and really kind of living in alignment from there. And so I had launched the podcast actually, I think it was 5 months after she had passed away. So it's been 3.5-year journey to really kind of figure that out. And then really kind of saying yes at the right moments, and that led to the success that I have now. I've been fortunate enough that Inc. magazine listed my podcast as a top 8 podcast every entrepreneur should follow, and it kind of took off from there, and now it's stemmed into amazing relationships and business partners and all that stuff. So.
Are there any specific episodes or guests that have been very memorable to you? I know it's like picking your favorite child, right?
It's very, very difficult. I mean, obviously they're all super memorable to me, and I've made some great friends from the show. But people like Fabio Viviani from America's Top Chef, who's become a great friend and mentor to me. That episode's amazing. Ed Milet was an incredible episode. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I don't even know. I mean, Bert Kreischer was hilarious. That was an 1.5 hour long just laugh session. So I mean, I think for me, they've all impacted me in different ways, and I've been able to learn from them all.
In what ways has it impacted you that might surprise you? I didn't know this when I embarked on this podcast journey.
I didn't realize. I think for me, I didn't realize how much people are willing to help. And for people, when I reach out to these individuals who before my show took off, for them to come on my show and take their time out and then help me beyond that, and I think for me, it showed me the world had a bigger heart than I thought.
Oh, interesting. So if there's somebody out there who needs help, was wanting help, but they're having trouble getting it, anything you could suggest or recommend to those people in order to solicit more help?
Yeah, just ask.
Yeah.
I think we have a fear of rejection. We have a fear of people saying no. But if you just ask, you're going to realize that a lot more people are going to say yes. And that's something that I say on podcasts when I'm being interviewed, and I just said it here, and people reach out to me and say, "Hey, do you mind helping?"
I could use $1 million, bro.
Yeah. Can I have $1 million? But I think realistically, I've been able to help as many people as I possibly can, whether it's giving them a resource or hopping on a quick phone call. I'm willing to help, and so are other people. So just ask.
And so are we. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Being such an inspiration. Please tell everyone where they can follow your personal journey, of course, listen to your podcast.
Yeah. So they can search Growth Down Movement wherever they listen to podcasts. It'll pop up. There's 280-something episodes, which is kind of crazy to think about. They can follow me on Instagram at GNM Podcast. And if they want to check out my live event with some incredible speakers who've actually been guests of yours in the past, they can go to gnmlive.com. So check that out.
So when's the event?
It's May 15th through 17th, 2020 in Pennsylvania.
Oh, love it. Pennsylvania.
You know
I'm from
he's a Pennsylvania guy.
What
Yeah?
city?
Reading.
Okay, I know where Reading is.
Where are you from?
Went to school at Swarthmore, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Penn, and yeah,
Very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll
Check out
see
the
his
event.
name on the lineup.
That's right.
Stay tuned for more at EverTalk Live. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
Even a first date, I think it's a really good idea. Like, hey, I'm really into feet. I do think when it comes to fetishes like that, maybe that helps people match up, because the foot licker and the person who likes their feet licked are going to be a good match.
And they might not mind that thing so much, but if you just come out and be like, yo, I like to lick feet, that
maybe it's a person that really likes their feet licked.
yeah. So this guy's going, hey, I want to lick your feet.
If it's a person looking for a serious relationship and they just really like feet, hey baby, I saw that open-toed picture of you and like your feet look really lovely. Yeah. Be prepared for a response if the other person is not into it when you say you want to lick their feet. How far does that go for you? Are you on foot fetish sites every day and you don't go to work because you're so consumed in it? Foot fetish is actually like a common way. So something like a foot fetish, a lot of times it's a more submissive man. Get away. I like your feet. Maybe not the way to go.
EverTalk is hashtag community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We are here with an award-winning filmmaker, Deckel Berenson's in the house. Please give me the proper pronunciation of your name.
Deckel Berenson. Deckel.
It means palm tree.
Yes.
Wow.
In Hebrew, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful name. So tell us about your journey. Born and raised in Israel. Tell us a little bit about that. When did you decide you were going to be a filmmaker?
So I wanted to make films from a very young age, but I think that's common to a lot of people. And then in Israel we go to the military for 3 years between the age of 18 and 21. And then most Israelis, they go abroad for 1 year to travel and then they go back to Israel. And I left and I just didn't go back yet. So I've been still going around for 20 years. And first I traveled for a year, then I lived for a few years in Budapest, in Hungary. Then I moved to London, then I moved to New York for a year, and then I just started traveling for a few years because I was working online as a graphic designer and a coder.
Is that what you started doing? You started as a graphic
designer?
designer?
Because when I lived in Budapest as a student, when I was just 22, I had to finance my studies there. I did a BA in international relations, a master's in international relations. And then while I was there, I had to finance myself, so I just went online, and that was before Facebook or Twitter, so it was quite early. So then really early on, I created this like nomadic lifestyle, kind of traveling and working.
And how has this nomadic lifestyle played into you as a filmmaker? I mean, fast forward to Oscar qualifying film.
Yes, so actually exactly 5 years ago today, I just saw it on my Facebook memories. I was in Nepal mountain climbing, because while I was traveling and doing all these things, I did all these different things in different places, mountain climbing, a sailing course, and paragliding, all sorts of things. And then I was in Nepal 5 years ago, and after the mountain climbing, I went paragliding in Nepal, in a certain area where it's very well known for paragliding. And there, when I went down for my first solo flight, I saw these children running towards me. And at first I was very confused. I was like, why are these children here running towards me when I'm landing? And you know, it was very scary and like, what's going on? And then I quickly realized that they wanted for me to give them my parachute so they can pack it for small change. And then quickly I realized, oh, okay, either I let them do it and then I have to pay them and then they have a reason not to go to school because they were very young, or I don't do it, I do it myself and they just came here for nothing, right? So I instantly thought, oh, if I'm ever a filmmaker, that will make a good idea for a short film. And 3 years later, or 2 years later, I became a filmmaker, and I made my first short film in the UK. And then it's very difficult and expensive to make a film in the UK, in London. And then I thought I would just go to Nepal, back to the same place, and shoot the story of these children who work there. So that's Ashmina, the film which is Oscar qualified.
But what is it that you're really trying to shed light on? There's a lot of social commentary
Yes, so specifically in Ashmina, it's a story of this young girl, as I said, and it's there's a lot of different themes in the short film. It talks about gender inequality and children's rights, and one of the biggest themes is that effect of the foreigners who go to visit in developing countries and they're, living, throwing cash around, and how that affects the local population, because that's kind of like the story of what the film is about.
Yeah. And how do you get to a point where your film is Oscar qualifying? I mean, how does that happen?
So Ashmina's screened in around 150 festivals until now, and you have
150 festivals.
Yeah, and we have to win an award which is Oscar qualifying. So it won the first prize in the Krakow Film Festival, and it won the first prize in the Jerusalem Film Festival, and that made it Oscar qualified, and then it can run to the Oscars.
Wow. Anything you've learned along the way about how to make a great film? What have you learned now? What do you know now that you didn't know when you were a graphic designer?
So I went to only for 3 months to a film school, so I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So everything that I know I had to learn from
Yourself?
scratch, essentially, while making films. So it's just about preparation. Everything is about preparation. As I told you before, I just came from Mammoth, which is 5 hours away, and I spent there 2 weeks just location scouting for the film that we're going to shoot next week. So it's just preparing and making sure that you know what you're doing. And when you come to the set to shoot, I always tell my crew and my actors that if something happens to me, they can make the film without me, because you prepare so much and everybody knows what they're doing.
I think it's so interesting that you spent so much time in the military. How has that helped you as a leader, as a director, and a filmmaker?
It actually, the way that it helped me, it made me, because so when you're 18 to 21, you can't leave the country, because you're in the military, and that's the reason that all these young Israelis, they go abroad to travel as a way of to compensate for the 3 years that they lost in the military. And that's why you meet, if you travel in the Far East or in South America, there's thousands of Israelis there, and people think that Israel is this huge country because they meet so many Israelis around. But in my case, it helped me, not in that sense, but it helped me just because of wanting to travel and live out of the country, and live in different places and experience different experiences and see different cultures. And now I'm able to tell stories from around the world, having that experience.
I know you're gearing up for your debut feature as well.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, I'm actually developing a number of features. One of them, Ashmina, this film that is Oscar qualified. So as I said, I have another film that is screening tomorrow in the AFI, in the American Film Institute Film Festival. And that's a film that premiered in the Cannes Film Festival a few months ago, in May. And these two films, they make together an omnibus feature, which is made of 5 stories of 5 different women. Each of them is told from a different country around the world. So I'm going to first finish that project. So I'm going in February, I'm going to Brazil to shoot the 3rd part. And as I said, now I'm shooting in next week another film which is outside of that project. And meanwhile, I'm starting to work on my feature film, which I'm starting to write, but I have a lot of different ideas. So,
is it anxiety-provoking thinking about creating a feature?
Yeah.
It's like a big...
No,
at
all.
Really, no. Yeah.
No.
So used to it, huh?
Just working on these different films and throwing myself in Nepal and in Ukraine and all these very difficult situations, because I also went to Nepal just by myself, just being one producer.
What filmmakers or films really inspire you?
I really don't like to answer that question because it's just so many different inspirations, and it changes, but I'm mostly drawn to European filmmakers. So like Celine Sciamma, who has a beautiful film now called Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and the Dardenne brothers. And
what do you think they do differently? What do you think is about the European?
Well, European filmmaking is less about entertainment in the classic word that is, films are made here. So they're more visual, and there's more subtext, and usually films, they're told in a different way. So it's not just here; it's just about action and dialogue. And in Europe, it's more about there's more layers to the stories, and they're told in a slower way, in a different way.
How would you describe your way of storytelling, your narrative?
Similar to just what I explained now. So Ashmina is it's 15 minutes long, but there is maybe 12 lines of dialogue in it. And Anna, my other film, is also, it's just like 6 or 7 pages, the script for 15 minutes. And the film that I'm doing now, there's maybe even 6 lines of dialogue. So the story is told through the subtext and the situation, the imagery, and the relationship between the people. So there's a lot of layers, but you understand the story not just through the talking and, you know, the bus explodes and then somebody runs to save the hostages. It's like, it's just different. And once you watch the films, then you can understand. You understand in a different way. So it's a different way to tell stories, essentially.
Well, we will be rooting for you as you make your Oscar run and gear up to do your first debut feature. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow your personal journey.
Just Deckel Berenson. I have a website and you know, Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, have a great screening tonight at AFI.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
you.
Back with more on EverTalk Live. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
Hey guys, I'm Erin Ziering, and this is the Housewives of Hollywood. I have my good friend here, Tammin Zersak, and I'm going to ask her a few rapid-fire questions.
Okay, let's
Are you
do
ready?
it.
All right. So if you were going to have one video go viral, what would it be of?
The birth of my baby? I don't know. Is that weird?
No, but vagina or no vagina?
She just came out of my stomach. So like, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of the coolest video I've ever got. Is like her coming out of my stomach.
I like it. Let's make it go viral then. Let's have it right now. All right, cravings.
Pineapple, sparkling water, and rice pudding.
All together, mixed.
Sure.
All right. What is the most nostalgic thing to you?
My parents.
I like that. So
Yeah,
sweet.
their smell.
When's it okay to lie?
To your child about Christmas. Elf on the Shelf. I'm like, oh.
It's all good. Is make sure to tune in, watch my episode with Tammin talking all about pregnancy, sex. It's going to be good.
Bye. EverTalk is hashtag community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV.
Rob Mack and One Drink Jeslyn in the house.
That's
What?
right. Fuel
Welcome
me
back.
up.
Fantastic. Fuel you up. How you feeling, Jez?
I'm
Boy.
good. I'm good. I can't believe it's Thursday. It's been an incredible
Oh my gosh.
week. Thorough Thursday.
It's been a thorough Thursday.
Learn that one.
It
from
has,
you.
yeah. It's both an actual term and also a slang term that means lacking nothing, Thorough Thursday. But yeah, it was an incredible day today. You know what I loved? I was thinking about all the interviews, and they were all fantastic. And the one theme that I walk away with is like the ways in which you want to align like your purpose with your passion and make sure that you're aligned that way. Because I heard them often, most of them say, look, when I was really dialed into my passion and my purpose, that's when the greatest insights came, that's when the most success came. But I think it's something to keep in mind.
I love that Emily Bear was literally born that way.
I
mean,
know.
5 years old, her grandma's like, I see you, you're a prodigy. And then Ellen said, I see you, you're on my
Yeah.
show. And then
7 times.
Yeah, and then Quincy Jones endorses her.
I
And I
know.
mean, look where she is now. I am so excited. And it's so interesting though too, she's got such a sweet heart, and she mentioned, you know, about her new single, Emotions.
Yes.
And we asked, what's the inspiration? And of course she just says, a boy.
Boy, yeah.
Now after all of this journey,
Right?
and all of this fame and all of this success, she still deals with
Yes.
heartbreak just like any of us other girls.
That's right. That's why what is it? People, just like us, all the tabloids do. The celebrities, just like us.
Yes,
But it's really
yeah.
pretty interesting, actually, because you're right. You know, you would think that someone who plays classical piano, they might be out of touch with what's happening in life because they're so dedicated to their art and their craft. But she's actually much more in touch with what's happening, you know, in everyday life with relationships and friends and family.
Oh, I cannot wait to see her. She's going to be playing at one of my favorite jazz bars here in Los Angeles by Brado.
Yes.
She's one of the youngest winners of Herb Alpert's Jazz Awards.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to be there in a couple weeks.
Just incredible. You put me onto that place. You and Andy.
Oh, it's
That's
so
Yes.
good. I'm going to listen to the Growth Now podcast on my way up
Oh,
to
man.
the ballet.
Right?
Yeah.
And Milet. I mean, my goodness, 280 episodes. I mean, that's just fantastic. And I can appreciate his perspective so much because I've always been an active, like, lifelong learner too. And I just feel like I can't learn enough. I feel like there's always something more to learn. So it's a great podcast. Gotta check that out. And the event. right?
Oh,
Yeah.
And the event, and Natalia Safran, I just loved her story. Leaving Poland, making her way through Europe to New York to LA, where she said anything is possible. And I really felt that way too. The second I stepped onto Robertson Boulevard for my internship in Los Angeles, I knew anything could happen.
Oh, I love that. You know what reminds me of that song, that Miley Cyrus song, what is it, Party in the USA, when she talked about jumping off, basically getting out of the car, she hears a Jay-Z song, and like, it's so interesting because LA definitely has that effect. When you get out off the airplane or out of the car, you feel different.
Anything could happen here, and anything can happen here. We're so grateful to our amazing team around here, great producers and editors who work so hard while we talk and have this conversation to bring you our daily rewind. Let's take a look.
Coming to you live from Ever Media Studios in Los Angeles, this is EverTalk Live.
But I only dreamt of my mom cleaning the kitchen, like over and over again. I don't know what that means. And then you wake up the next day bright and early, you're the first one here, along with Andy Waldman, the executive producer.
Well, you know what the secret is?
Yeah.
I drink my rosé.
That
I'm going to do a shameless self-plug right now because I am in the throes of launching my own rosé, and I am so excited about it. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. I am so excited to be here with Emily Barrett. She is a globally recognized artist, singer, songwriter, composer. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Tough life, girl.
I mean, I'm really bad at like my elevator pitch because there's been a lot and I've done a lot of different things, so it's hard to cover.
Age. I mean, how old were you right there?
I think 5. I mean, all of these incredible opportunities and experiences that I've been a part of over the past 10 plus years, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We are here with the incredibly gorgeous Talia Safran. Thanks for being with us today.
I need to be creative. I have stories to tell. I want to make movies and I want to make music.
Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We're all about scaling, and this guy is the host of the Growth Now movement. Justin Shank is in the house.
And I realized that it doesn't matter where you come from. What matters are the choices that you're making today.
So awesome. How are these 5-year-olds living my dream life?
What?
It's like 6 and 7. I also want to give a shout out, of course, to Nicole, Alex, and Andy. I mean, our production, it's incredible. Our producers are just phenomenal, and they work tirelessly to get that rewind created, to do all the stuff here that makes this show possible. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. We're so grateful. I mean, we always say we're hashtag community powered, but honestly, we really, really are.
Yeah,
we couldn't do what we do without the support of you watching. Thank you for sharing, for DMing, for commenting, for continuing to support us as we grow and scale our vision, for the people in the studio and their friends and families for having our backs. We're so grateful.
That's right, especially our moms, because they're always
especially our moms.
Go Mamarazzi.
Oh, Mamarazzi, I'm so excited. You know, tomorrow is a big day for me. I've worked very hard, most of you don't know, on a film called Animal Among Us, and it's getting ready to premiere nationwide next week, and one of the stars, Christian Oliver, is actually going to be with us tomorrow. Right?
That's so amazing.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I'm really excited
That
about
is amazing. Oh my gosh, you gotta check out that movie.
Exactly. It's going to be unleashed.
Hence the animal print.
Oh, I'll be full animal tomorrow.
Okay, love it.
Full
Looking
animal.
forward to that. Fantastic.
Well, we are EverTalk Live, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., streaming on all things social and, of course, on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow. Check us out. Send us a DM. Send us a message. Have a great day on purpose.
That's right. Cheers.